you need to fucking trust that vision. That is what it is. That is what is meant for you. That is what you're meant to do. That is what you're meant to take a step forward towards. You want to know why? Because that concoctive seed, that imagination, that beautiful expression of desire wouldn't fucking be there if it wasn't meant to be. I'm recording this from my phone, but the right way, as in with the camera in the back. That's super HD, baby, so I can't actually see my face, but I've been wanting to make this video for quite a long time, along with many others. I'm just gonna have to get used to holding this, so forgive me for a sec. It's 4:45 in the morning, and my body clock has been really interesting trying to fucking shift this shit to normal hours, but we're rolling with the flow. And I'm sitting here reading some emails from one of my mentors and her personal journey, and really fucking noticing this intuitive switch and notion, which is really what I want to speak to. And this is going to be especially important if you are a female entrepreneur who is on the path of spirituality and embodiment and authentic creation on your own true, authentic, and unique path. And you want to make a lot of money from it. You want your truth and your journey and your inherent wisdom to sustain you, not just internally and energetically, which is why you're on the path of living in such integrity, but also financially, right? That's why we're here. We're here to be fully fucking nourished from inside out. I'm just going to shut this because the light's distracting me. I'm just reflecting on my journey, which has been incredibly fucking profound. I know I haven't really shared my story and my actual path, like the fucking juiciness and the ins and outs of what's actually happened. That will come in the right time. I've been brewing and waiting for that one. But there was a time since I started my entrepreneurship journey when I was 24, which was over 10 years ago now. It's over a decade. And I started with being super enlightened in my state, having gone through my own spiritual transgression and healing transformation, which truly awakened my consciousness in a higher level. It didn't happen overnight. It was low, slow, and this deep, delicious burn, but it wasn't painful. It was completely beautiful and transformative and completely, truly enlightening. I mean, I haven't met, and I try to say this with as much fucking humility as I can, but I'm gonna be real about it. I haven't met any other person on the planet yet, especially in the spiritual community, who has had an authentic spiritual awakening like I have, where I actually sat down in one place, much like Siddhartha, who became the Buddha. And he went internal and he did the work. I had support from certain doctors and neurological specialists that were helping me heal. But as that was happening, it was activating different areas of my brain and my body, which allowed me to transgress in this way. And all of my needs, or certain needs of mine, were met so that I could sit and focus and heal. So my entrepreneurship journey began from that place of true authentic enlightenment and awakening to my power and purpose as the liberated and enlightened human that I was back then, and awakening to my unique gifts as to who I was born as, not just in the arts, thriving in purpose with that knowing and those sort of potentials and power in dance, music, creativity, expression. I'd like to say, acting as well, but I haven't had much direct tutelage or education and knowledge in that area. I just tried and pretended, I guess, but I'd like to in the future. But it also awoke my deep humanitarian knowing and gifts. So essentially, the desire that was crafted through me, which was planted by a seed from when I was a child, from when my sister was born, who was born with a rare disability, sort of this old story came to light where it was like, I'm going to create the performing arts school for kids with disabilities because it doesn't exist on the planet, but I integrated a lot of my awakening and transformative tools that I had learned through my own transgressive journey. So we focused on healing, well-being, mindfulness, and using gifts and tools such as meditation to help stabilize and regulate the nervous system of the child, which further helped to not only awaken their own personal unique gifts, but it helped them to heal the limitations of what they felt their disability was imposing on them. And I have so many stories from children and young people and teenagers with cerebral palsy who had obvious motor limitations and couldn't move, and it really affected their self-esteem in such a deep, sad way, where when they would come into class, I would ensure that intuitively, and my intention was to help break through those fears so that they can break through and create a greater sense of self and embodied self-confidence, right? So from that to other more severe disabilities that you couldn't even see from the outside, but awakening and enlightening this beautiful power within them to feel safe, to feel the ability to connect. And parents would break down in tears because they would never see these results that we got in class at home, you know, because that was the same familiar environment with the same habits and the et cetera, and, you know, coming into a new environment was very scary for them as they wanted to protect their child. But I knew what I was doing. Not only was I tapped in consciously and intuitively, but in my own consciousness and awareness, I could use the educative factors of integrating movement therapy and, you know, music therapy, and using that to apply in their own intrinsic way to have them heal and to have these children have their own transformations. So that's where I began. As an entrepreneur, it was definitely not money focused at all. In fact, my money experience and money journey when I started was actually very unhealthy when I look back at it. But at the time, you know, being this sort of enlightened human and having this vision, which I executed within a matter of 2 to 3 months, within that time from when I started working on it to starting class, I had, I think from the top of my head, 30 plus children in classes where I actually had to make 2 different classes. And then eventually I think 4. So, you know, it was very much mission and vision based and purpose driven. And so I want to speak to the souls and the hearts of those who are watching with regards to being an entrepreneur and really leading from that space. I see you and I feel you. And even though my journey has unfolded into a different way, you fucking matter. And it's important to not get disheartened when shit doesn't work out, or if you feel like it's not. It's important that your mindset stays clear and strong. Clarity is number one. You need to move with the truth that is enlightened from within you and move forward. Now, when it comes to business and money, that was a whole different trajectory and area that I had no fucking experience of. In fact, I had so much undercurrent of fear and avoidance from it because my belief system back then was people who make money are bad people. So what happened? Shit kind of hit the fan. Now, the reason why I'm actually sharing and posting this right now is because I really need to and want to speak to whether or not you are a visionary or, you know, entrepreneurial or not, or you just have a big dream and you're creative, or you want to be creative and express yourself and you want success in some sort of way. This fucking message is for you. I look back at my journey and I had so much doubt, so much fucking profuse doubt around the creative ideas and the ideation that I had at the seed in its most truest, rawest, purest form. As in, if I had received it through meditation, or I had just was feeling so inspired to create this thing. And again, I'm a visionary, or I'm a visual sort of internally intuitive conduit conscious person. So I see the vision. When inspiration flows through me and it's like something wants to be created, I see it, and I can see it clearly, usually. Even though I saw these clear ideas, these clear visions, these clear desires so fucking clearly, there was this unarriving doubt that continued to burden me, no matter how fucking clear or strong or prevalent or powerful I thought or felt that I was, right? It was like, here's this beautiful seed, this idea, this ideation, and your imagination, like, I didn't even identify it as that. I just saw it, right? I just saw the vision. This fucking doubt would haunt me over and over and over again. And I could see it in the beginning and go, oh, I better watch out for that, because that could create a limitation that could stop me from actually pursuing it. Because then fears just start to fucking, layer up one by one over and over again. And eventually it can become such an unconscious habituated pattern that you might lose control of it, or already you feel like you don't have control of it. You just doubt. If you're in a place where you're doubting what's in front of you, if you're doubting the seed, this vision, it's been over a decade for me. And I have done so much fucking work at healing my own trauma, because trauma does bear witness to affecting this kind of truth. It really, if you've experienced some sort of traumatic event in the past relative to where it is you think you want to go, your mind will tell you it's not safe. Your mind will create, constructs of believable reality, which it's not. It's a trauma story. It's a delusion, essentially. It's an illusion. All fear is, that's what fear is a false projection of what you think is the light or what you think is right. But if you are somebody who constantly has a doubt, doubts sort of with this habituated pattern, it just keeps happening. I don't want to say if you doubt, because it's almost an unconscious mechanism, right? It's almost an unconscious thing that happens. And I can say that with validation, because I have prided myself to be and become the most fucking conscious person that I can possibly be. It's been over 10 years for me as an entrepreneur, and I have gained some sort of accrued success financially now, despite being incredibly and prevalently creative and being so fucking terrified of the ones and zeros, and eventually creating a narrative inside of my head also for my family story and my lineage of not being enough if I wasn't making enough money. So that really fucking crippled me. It crippled my heart. It crippled my soul. It was a huge part of feeling like a failure, which is something I'm deleting now, because that is from a past trauma as well. And you'll see that in my story, and it will make a lot of sense. But it's not the truth. That's not the truth. 10 fucking years, over 10 years down the track, guys, I've gone into the psyche, I've gone into the mind, and I have tried to fucking microanalyze every single angle of what has been stopping me from fulfilling my visions, my dreams, and my purpose. And I'm going to tell you straight the fuck up now, my love. Your doubt is not real. Your doubt is the motherfucking problem. Because the truth of the matter of the fact is that seed of truth, that visionary creation that has just come up out of nowhere, out of thin air. It might inspire you from the inside out, where you feel a burning sensation to fucking go and do it. But then it's like, oh, but what was happening for me was, oh, but like, what if that's not real? What if that's just, like my own thing? Is that right? Is that how I should be doing it? What if, I need to have the right formula to execute? What if it's not successful? What if it's not successful? What if it's not successful? Oh no, I just, that's just my crazy idea. I just doubted that. That is fucking doubt playing at you left, right, and center. And if you have not accomplished or fulfilled your dream or vision yet, because of this fucking pattern, which you might not even be consciously aware of, because I know a lot of people do it, even from as simple as fucking picking up your phone and filming a video and putting it out into the world and pressing post, submit, whatever it is here on YouTube or on social media. That doubt is the devil. I don't even want to say that because that's, I'm generalizing with regards to a specific religious dogma, but that doubt is the unhealthy habituated pattern that is stopping you from fulfilling your dream. So how do you heal it? As I always do, and as I always say, one of my mechanisms and tools is, if something is not fucking working for you and it lives in the negative, flip it. You need to flip it. So what is the exact opposite of doubt? Trust. And for a lot of people, that's going to feel really fucking uncomfortable because A, your brain isn't, neurowired or doesn't have the neural pathway to even know what trust is or how to trust. B, you've never fucking felt it before. So what the hell is that? And C, you might feel so far away from the core root of the center of your being where you don't actually know where trust lives. And that's the work, my friend. When you go internally and you do the work to come home, to come closer to yourself and more authentically merged within your soul, that is where you find the answers. That is where you find trust. Okay? But on the more superficial level, for wherever you might be, I'm going to tell you straight up now, you need to fucking trust that vision. That is what it is. That is what is meant for you. That is what you're meant to do. That is what you're meant to take a step forward towards. You want to know why? Because that concoctive seed, that imagination, that beautiful expression of desire wouldn't fucking be there if it wasn't meant to be. And this is the important part of my story. Not just that fucking journey, but you have no fucking idea how painful it is when you lose all of that juice, all of that essence. You might be ruminating in these thoughts and dreams and ideas day after day after day, day on end, on end, on end. You might be stuck in a 9-to-5 job or in a casual gig that you hate, but you're sitting there dreaming. I'm talking to you. You might be, have left the 9-to-5 and are trying to pursue your visions as an entrepreneur. I'm talking to you. You just might be a motherfucking dreamer and you do it by nature, but you just sit there and you love to feel the rumination of your dreams. And you wonder one day, is it ever going to happen? I'm talking to you. You do not want to have your dreams taken from you, where you are incapacitated mentally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually, where it literally is taken away from you, to then realize, holy fuck, that's what it actually was. Because that's what happened to me. I am usually so full of creative energy, creative spark, creative inspiration. I'm full of the visions. I can see it. I know it. I feel it. But that doubt stopped me for almost over a fucking decade. And I would question it over and over again when something new would come up, or when I would think that thing is new, but it's actually leading me to the originating factor, to the original thing. I would question myself and I would question the world, and I would go, I don't know, is it because, the thing that I perceptively, perceived as failure before, I don't want to fail again. Am I going to fail? Is that going to fail? I don't want to fail. Is that going to be a success? I don't know. Is that going to be a success? I don't know. Is that too out there? Is that going to work? Even my dad would say in the past, and this is, huge on surrounding yourself with the right fucking people and ensuring that you're not sharing and spreading your vision with naysayers and people who don't see or believe in your dream or vision. And that's going to be a lot of people because they are not you. You were given the seed. Okay? My father would say, oh, that's stupid. How's that going to work? He would really come up in my face and be like, how is that going to be profitable or successful? You know, he's his own kind of fucking businessman and entrepreneur. But he would doubt my own visions when I had such conviction, and I knew that my desires and my visions and ideas had a place. And I could feel it. I was in the vortex. I was in the vibration. I could feel it. I'm like, I know this is going to fucking work. You know when you can just feel it? And I don't know if you've ever experienced where you have that knowing, you fucking go and do it and it actually works out. Yeah, you need to follow that, okay? But quickly, what happened to me was I was full of everything, full of inspiration, and I was on the cusp and brink of making and creating these into a success. But my own past traumas and my current circumstances of dealing with a particular person who would not leave me the fuck alone, and my current circumstances of thinking that I needed to have it all figured out, so I was completely stressed out, and I ended up with having all of these multiple visions and trying to execute more than one, or not even knowing which way was the right way and not trusting my gut. I ended up having, sadly, a nervous breakdown, and not only did all of the visions and my connection to the visions go, but my motor functioning went. I was catatonic in bed for a long time. It hurt to think. I couldn't fucking move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't even go to I couldn't have a shower. I was surprised I was going to the toilet when it was happening. These are very intimate but authentic and true details. So not only did I lose everything externally and materialistically, but the thing that I worked so hard for the most, the thing that I truly felt had become of me and defined me, my higher consciousness, my Kundalini activation, that, oh God, that sadly imploded. And it fucked up and ruptured my vagus nerve, where I, again, could not think, couldn't function like a normal person, was stuck in bed for months, and I had severe insomnia, not just from the mental and emotional dysregulation, but from the severe vagus nerve pain that was triggered from that experience. It felt like my brain, and it's the wires that go into it that we just naturally go by day, it felt like all of that was twisted and mangled, and I was in severe pain and circumstance in that situation. I had everything taken away from me, so much so I was on the brink of questioning whether or not my life was worth living. And that happened a lot. I almost died. Okay, so from going up here to fucking having worked my way up to the top and having the clarity, but still the fears and the unknowingness and the doubt, because I didn't have somebody there. Even though I heard it, I didn't have somebody there guiding me to tell me, fucking trust that, do that. That's what's meant for you. The thing you feel in your gut, that's what you're supposed to do. Do that. Going from here to not just fucking crashing to zero, but going scarily below and beneath the surface for too long of a time. Guys, I'm here to fucking tell you, if you are sitting on the brink of doubt, do not let a horrific, life-changing, traumatic circumstance and event show you that what you had, even though it was unmanifest, even though it was unmaterialized, but you knew to a degree that is where you wanted to go and that is what you wanted to do. Do not let a horrifying, significant traumatic event happen to you, where then you realize and have to fucking work your way back up slowly, because that's the only way you could do it, back up to the top, to realize that what you already had within your grasp was it. Because I'm telling you now, the visions that you have that were given to you whether it was by God or by circumstance or by imagination or by just pure, authentic and true, innocent, jovial inspiration. That is what you are meant to do. I'm here to tell you that you are meant to trust it now. And do not let more time caused by more doubt stop you from achieving and accomplishing your dream just by taking the next fucking step. Do not let a near-death experience that may have been caused from your own trauma and your own fear and your own doubt stop you from realizing that what you have now is it. Trust your vision, even if it is fucking worldly and wildly and widely, wildly wild and crazy. Okay? Because as Steve Jobs said, and I'm paraphrasing here, crazy people are essentially the people who change the fucking world. And you don't even need to change the fucking world. I wanted to change the world for a long time. I think I did with my previous projects and what I created from that instigation. Even if it was to inspire other people in their own lives. Sure, great. I have decided to take a step down from that pressure and say, you know what? I don't even need to change the fucking world anymore. I have changed myself. I have healed myself. I have evolved myself. And what's important to me now is just to be and live in joy. And being and living in joy for me is executing and actualizing my dreams, because I need the creative expression and I need the creative inspiration to keep me going. I did the work. I studied how to make money. I made the money through other means and factors, and I've been doing the work to internally to believe that I can make as much money as I can through my own creative gifts and ventures. I've done that work. It's not even about the money anymore, guys. It's about realizing for me and my core being, my true values as a creative human, I need creative, authentic expression to keep my life force and my energy going. That is what is essentially is driving me forward. Because without that, which is what I experienced for 5.5 fucking years. The last 5.5 years have been the scariest, most traumatic, most intense and grueling, painful experiences that I have ever had in my entire life. And I already had my motherfucking healing journey. Okay? I've come to realize that nothing motivates me more than the creative inspiration and instigation that moves through me. Not about the money, not about the fucking fame, not about the power. Okay? It's not even about that. What has always been true for me ever since I was born was that creative expression. So that is what is true for me. But I'm here to tell you, if you are someone who constantly fucking doubts themselves from filming your own video that has a powerful message, even if you don't think or feel it's powerful, even if the video is shit because it's the first time you're doing it. We all suck in the beginning. You're supposed to. And if you don't, then you're gifted. Fucking share that shit. Press post. Okay? Even if you're someone who's scared of posting your first video, to being someone who wants to take action on their dream. Trust your fucking dream. It wouldn't be yours. It wouldn't be given to you. You wouldn't have the vision or the clarity to even see it if it wasn't. Do not let a horrible, horrific, traumatic event and experience teach you or be the one to teach you or help you see and remind you or essentially teach you that what you had, that you doubted so fucking much over and over and over again, was actually the thing you needed to do. Because that journey, my friend, is a very long and arduous and painful one that if I didn't have to go through, I wouldn't. And if I just had enough, and I was seen as someone who was fucking invincible, apparently, to other people. I was fearless. When people, I heard from friends, people would say, fucking Roshni, I hear her name, and all I think is just complete fearlessness. There was still that doubt. From a soft whisper to a loud roar. do not let that fucking whatever that is dilute the truth of who you are, because the truth of who you are would not be given to you, and it would not be made real inside of you and in front of you if that was not what the fuck it was supposed to be. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's there for a reason. And just because you think it's in you, just because, you know, a part of you thinks that you created that, does not mean it's not real. It is. That is your own consciousness and your own subconscious creating itself. Your only fucking purpose now, or I would just say the problem, is you need to allow yourself to express it. Let yourself express it. Don't even fucking be involved in that process. Get the fuck out of the way. Step to the side. Step out of the way. Let that come to light, because that is what is supposed to come to life. Okay, so here's my message for you today. Do not let your doubts dilute the truth of who you are and what you are to become, because that is what you are supposed to creatively express in your truth and in your vision. What has been given unto you is supposed to be given for the world. Do not let your own doubts and delusions stop you from becoming that. I love you. Have a beautiful day.